Well, happy Mother's Day, 2023. Hi, I'm Doc Martin. I'm the lone journalist, and yes, a journalist we are. We are the press. Here at KRAZ TV and the Zero Channel, the adult side. Well, why have I got two books today? Because they're juxtaposed, and they're by both career demagogic politicians. One's an independent who works with Democrats, the other one is a Republican. And they both, maybe downplay each other or talk about one another or put their values out. But as a journalist, I would not read one without reading the other. So we'll start with, it's okay to be angry about capitalism. People are angry about journalists too. You know, I was interviewing a gubernatorial candidate here in Arizona, and she was berating, and I found out later that she was a journalist, so she had every right. And of course, being who she is, I like her too. But she was talking about the media, and I said, well, I'm not that way. And she walked over to me on the stage, and I was at the front of the stage. She held a mic down to me, and she said, well, who are you? And I said, I'm an independent citizen journalist. And she said, we need more like you. So that's why I want you to listen, because I really didn't want to read either one of these books. Not that I shouldn't, but I did, and I look for joy, and maybe we can find joy, but these two guys have been at it hammer and tongs for years, but they're both career politicians. They both believe in their, that's right, they both believe in their ideals. So, this was by Newt Gingrich. It's called Defeating Big Government Socialism, Saving America's Future. This one's called It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism with Bernie Sanders. So, Bernie says, a progressive takedown of the uber-capitalist status quo that has enriched millionaires and billionaires at the expense of the working class, and a blueprint for what transformational change would actually look like. It's okay to be angry about capitalism. Reflecting on our turbulent times, Senator Bernie Sanders takes on the billionaire class and speaks blunt truths about our country's failure to address the destructive nature of a system that is fueled by uncontrolled corporate greed and rigidly committed to prioritizing profits over the needs of ordinary Americans. So see, there's truth in everything to a point. Sanders argues that unfettered capitalism is to blame for an unprecedented level of income and wealth inequality, is undermining our democracy and destroying our planet. How can we accept an economic order that allows 3 billionaires to control more wealth than the bottom half of this society? How can we accept a political system that allows the super rich to buy politicians and swing elections? How can we accept an energy system that rewards the fossil fuel corporations causing the climate crisis? Sanders believes that in the face of these overwhelming challenges, the American people must ask tough questions about the systems that have failed us and demand fundamental economic and political change. This is where the path forward begins. It's okay to be angry about capitalism presents a vision that extends beyond the promises of past campaigns to reveal what would be possible if political revolution took place. If we finally recognize that the economic rights are human rights and work to create a society that provides a decent standard of living for all. It isn't some utopian fantasy. This is democracy as we know it. And yet, people call him a communist, and he may have said that himself, but I can't be sure because I don't listen to hardly any politicians anymore. But juxtaposed is defeating big government journalism, saving America's future, Newt Gingrich. Now, when I got these books, I just said, actually I didn't want to read them at all, like I said, but I said if I'm going to get one, I'm going to get both of them. Best-selling author and former House Speaker Newt Gingrich reveals how big government socialism is crippling America and offers strategies and insights for everyday citizens to overcome its influence. In communities across our country, Americans are debating critical race theory, vaccine mandates, tax increases, rising inflation, online censorship, and a host of other important issues. So it's relevant to me because I was banned from YouTube for just filming this, politicians' rally. And they said it was misinformation. Well, I'm not the person that's doing it. All I'm doing is just showing you what somebody else said. And yet they think I'm aligning? Which way am I aligning here, huh? So, kudos to citizen journalism. Anyways, we have serious decisions to make about the future of our nation. Do we want big government or limited government? Do we want to work hard and keep what we earn, or do we want government to decide how our money is spent? Do we want our children to learn how to think in school or be told what to think? That's a true statement, you know. That's something to think about. Do we want to make our own decisions about health care, or should the federal government dictate our treatments? Should American companies compete on a level playing field, or should Washington decide who wins or loses? Speaker Gingrich analyzes these questions, describes the polling that shows what the American majority wants, and illustrates how we can create a safer, more prosperous, and secure future for America. In defeating big government socialism, Gingrich explains how Americans can reject the values of big government socialists who have taken over the modern Democratic Party, big business, news media, entertainment, and academia. He lays out a roadmap to save America's future and ensure that it remains the greatest nation on earth. So, just by reading the backs of these books, and I'm not going to go into a lot of them because I want to be fair, they each have their valid points. They both rant and rave to the excess on their ideals themselves. As a lone journalist, I can tell you this by reading the books. This is why it is important for people to keep reading, to have the libraries. I got these books at the Tucson Public Library. And thank God we can still have libraries, even though they decide to dumb down after COVID their openings so that they don't do Saturdays anymore. So, anyways, I guess you can be, you know, I'm a journalist, so I can say people are pissed off. And so which way do they pick? The more younger people, the older people of values. So don't think that these people don't have values. I have values. Yet I'm berated by YouTube, which I'm putting this on. And I'll probably get banned because I went through all the talking about these two at the same time, perhaps. I don't know. But I encourage you to read them. And we'll see how it goes from there. So there you go. 2 different books from 2 different people who are career politicians, and know that the guy in the middle is an independent journalist, and I listen to Citizen Zero. Is that how it's going to be? You decide. Thank you.